Podcast. Why don't you tell people, first and foremost, what your name is?
I am Braden Massaroni.
All right. And how old are you?
15 years old.
When were you born?
August 9th, 2009.
All right. Have you always been in Niskayuna, or were you born here?
Yes.
Right now you're in 10th grade?
Yeah, 10th grade. I'm a sophomore.
Okay. How do you like being in 10th grade?
Good.
Is it harder or easier than the other grades?
Easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
So you need to be challenged more.
Yes.
So let's talk about what a normal day in the life of Braden Massaroni is like. For all of the millions of fans that want to hear all about you, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what time do you wake up in the morning?
7 o'clock.
7. And do you wake up on your own? Do you have an alarm clock, or does your mom wake you up?
My mom.
She wakes you up?
Yeah.
And then what? What happens after you wake up?
I get ready for school.
Okay. And do you take the bus?
No.
Does your mom drive you to school?
No.
How do you get to school?
Somebody pick me up.
Okay. When you get to school, right? Who's
Yeah.
the first person that you see?
My teacher,
And that's who?
Ms. Zenner.
Okay. And is this your first year being in her class?
No.
All right.
Last year.
Last year was the first year?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about her class?
Like learning about new things.
Okay. What's your least favorite thing about school?
My more time for my teachers.
Okay. At the end of the day after school, you go home, right?
Yes.
All right. What do you do when you get home?
It's YouTube with my iPad.
Okay. And what do you like to watch on YouTube?
Like YouTube videos.
So what kind of videos? Do you like to watch funny videos? Do you like to watch scary videos? What kind of videos do you like to watch?
Funny and scary videos.
Okay. And how do you know how to find those?
Search in YouTube.
Okay. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I got 2 brothers, 1 stepbrother, 1 stepsister,
Okay.
and 1 stepdad.
Okay. And do you like it when everybody gets together, big family all together?
Yes.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
When you go out to eat, what's your favorite thing to do?
Eat salads.
Salads?
Yeah.
What kind of salads?
Like chicken salad.
Okay, that's your favorite?
Yeah.
All right. So, who did you come to dinner with tonight?
My mom, Alice's mom, my girlfriend.
Ella's mom? And
Yeah.
Ella's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
How did you meet Ella?
5 years.
Okay, she's in your class?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about her? What's your favorite thing about Ella?
I love her hair.
Her hair?
Yeah.
She's pretty?
Yes.
Excellent. And what do you think Ella's favorite thing is about you, Braden?
She is me. I'm awesome.
You're awesome?
Yeah.
I think you're awesome. In Niskayuna, do you like Niska Day?
Yes.
All right.
Like, cause my stepdad is a coach, Niski, both cross.
In lacrosse?
Yeah.
Do you like watching those games and
Yes.
cheering for the lacrosse team?
Yeah.
They're really good, the lacrosse team.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you like playing outside and playing sports at all?
Yeah, like basketball.
Okay. Do you watch basketball on TV at all or no?
I would say no.
Do you know any basketball players like LeBron
Yeah.
James?
The ball game, I have Jordan.
Yep. So there's a big conversation about who the greatest basketball player ever is. Who's the best? Between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Who's the best?
I would say Michael Jordan.
I think you're 100% right. Absolutely right, Braden. So, do you like to travel?
Braden, how you doing?
Oh,
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hey.
Look at this. You're famous. Braden's doing our podcast. We're recording the conversation.
Oh, sorry to interrupt
No, you're not interrupting us at all. Braden, everybody knows you. Who's this guy?
Oh, this is Mr. Nappy, Chase's dad.
That's right, Chase's dad, Mr.
Yeah,
Nappy.
that's right.
Excellent.
I'll let you finish your interview.
All good.
See you.
It's a,
Look at that, you're famous. Everybody knows you.
yes, I am, yes.
So have you always been famous?
Yeah.
Okay. You were born famous?
I would say yes.
All right. What is it, if somebody never met you before, right? Let's say a new person met Braden.
Yeah.
What would you want them to know about you?
My dad
Yep.
loves the New York Giants.
Okay. I like the New York Giants too.
Yeah.
What is that your favorite football team?
No.
Who's your favorite football team?
Kansas City Chiefs.
You like the Chiefs. My daughter's
Yeah.
13 and that's her favorite team too. Who do you like on the Kansas City Chiefs?
Patrick Mahomes,
Yep.
Kevin Stephanie.
Oh yeah. And they won the Super Bowl. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Tell me about your mom.
So my mom loves the Uno with me.
Okay. That's a fun game.
Yes.
Does she win?
No, me.
You always win?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Does she ever watch football with you?
Yeah.
She does?
Yeah.
And does she like the Kansas City Chiefs also?
Yeah.
So if the Kansas City Chiefs are playing the New York Giants, who do you cheer for?
What?
If the Kansas City Chiefs are playing the New York Giants, who do you cheer for?
The Chiefs.
For the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So who's going to win the Super Bowl this year?
The Chiefs.
It's going to be the Chiefs
Yeah.
because of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So you go to school
Yeah.
and you play, and you're at home
Yeah.
and you watch YouTube.
Yeah.
You sound like a pretty average, normal kid to me. You like Christmas?
Yes.
Tell me what Christmas is like.
Christmas like snow,
Yep.
white, Santa Claus.
Yep. How about the 4th of July? Do you like the 4th of July?
Yes, because it's U.S. colors.
The colors?
Yeah.
Do you like fireworks?
Yeah.
How about Thanksgiving?
Yeah. I love this game too.
Yeah. What's Thanksgiving like?
Like fall,
Yep.
apple pie, ham, turkey.
Apple pie and cookies?
No, I said ham.
Oh, ham. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And how about you have ham and apple pie?
Yeah.
How about cookies?
I love whole kind of food.
What's your favorite kind of cookie?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies?
Yeah.
Do you like ice cream?
Some water.
Okay. What kind of ice cream do you like?
Chocolate.
Are you strong?
Yes.
You like being strong?
Yeah.
If you could be anything in the whole world, what would you be?
Playing basketball.
Playing basketball?
Yeah.
And who would be your teammates on the basketball team? Niskayuna?
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, it was very nice to meet you.
Okay.
Is there anything else I can tell you? Anything else that you want?
No.
Okay. All right. Can we shake hands?
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you, Braden.
Me too.
Thank you. That's it. That's the whole interview.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about how it went?
Good.
I think
Good.
you did terrific.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about you,
Yeah.
and it was wonderful. The Niskaunity Podcast. You're Chris Rooney.
That's me.
Thank you so much for being my guest. This is our high-tech hourglass.
All right.
We're going to start the clock.
Boom.
It won't go that long because the camera battery apparently is not going to last that long. So I'm glad to have you on because I've interviewed a couple of people so far.
Yeah.
None of them are Niskayuna born and raised. I don't know, what's the term for that? Niskayunan?
The Niski native,
native.
Niskayite, Niskayuna. I think it's Niskayuna. Let's go with that.
So you'd be the first Niskayunan that we've
Okay.
had on the Niskaunity podcast. Tell me about the Niskayuna of the 70s and 80s
Wow.
and 90s.
Okay.
Someone who, a George Bailey type, if you will. Someone
Yeah.
who never left while everybody else did. So you'll be our George Bailey. We'll start off. How old are you?
52.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always here.
Always here.
And grew up where?
Grew up on Story Avenue, upper story, up the hill,
Oh, okay.
top the big hill. So wintertime, lots of fun. Little
Yeah.
kids sit in the window, watch cars go up and slide back down in the snow.
Okay.
You know,
Did you sled? Was that a sledding?
go out behind Hillside School on
Okay.
the sun and go up the hill
that's
near
right, I remember.
near Balltown and
Yep.
slide down from there.
That was the best hill for sledding,
Oh,
was behind
it's a
Hillside.
great hill. We would try to build mounds to do jumps and stuff. If you were really good on a good day, you could go up near Balltown Road
Yep.
and get all the way down to the Hillside Playground.
Okay.
You know, we would try to build a track so you could kind of
You go around the far side of the
make
school.
the turn around the far side of the school. I mean, that didn't happen too often. Had to be really good conditions.
And were you one of those really good sledders?
Pulled it off a couple of times. Yeah. My brother cracked his head open once in the back of the school. Went a little too fast, bam, right into the brick wall.
Like stitches and all, and
Yeah, I think that was probably before I was born.
Okay.
I'm the youngest of four. My brother's the oldest of four. He's 14
Yep.
years older than me. So the legendary cracking his head into the wall incident would have happened before my time. But,
Okay.
But I hear the tales.
a big Irish family
Irish family, yeah.
in Little Story Ave.
Yep.
Was Van Antwerp Middle School back then?
It was by the time I was middle school age. Well, my siblings all went to St. Helens.
Okay.
I started at St. Helens. Second grade, my parents pulled me out of that, put me in Hillside School. By the time I got to middle school age, VA had shut down.
Okay.
There were some budget cuts. I think there might have been declining enrollment. So they closed Van Antwerp Middle School. I did 6th grade at Craig.
Okay.
So I went to elementary at Hillside, did 6th grade at Craig, and then they put everybody into Iroquois. While I was going to Iroquois, they had built an addition onto Iroquois to accommodate all the extra kids.
Okay.
And then by the time I was done with high school, VA opened back up. So I missed out on getting to go to school at VA. Because that's like 4 doors down from my house.
Did you realize, or maybe it wasn't, was Niskayuna a great school district?
Yeah, oh yeah, we knew that then. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but when early 80s, it got written up in like Newsweek magazine as one of the top schools in the country.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we all knew that we were going to like someplace special.
All right.
Yeah.
What stands out to you as a memory of Niskayuna when you were young? For me,
Yeah.
and we might have this, but I was much younger. I remember Jeff Blatnick.
Sure.
I was 6 though.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, I was kindergarten, 1st grade,
Yeah.
something like that.
My brother graduated in the same class as Jeff.
Okay.
Class of 75. So my brother and Jeff knew each other. They were friends. I remember watching Jeff compete on the TV with my whole family in the living room, screaming at the TV.
That's like
So
Americana
excited.
right there.
Oh yeah. I remember the parade, which was more or less the same route as the Niskaunity parade. We had a parade for Jeff. And when Jeff won his medal and he was being interviewed, and sweat's pouring off of him and he's just in the moment. And someone asked him how he felt, and he said, "I'm a happy dude." And so they put a sign in front of the town hall that says Niskayuna, home of the happy dude.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
But what town hall though was
So
it?
the
Where
town hall back then was it's now I think a daycare center across the street from the CVS on Balltown Road. It's like Balltown and Alton.
Yeah.
That used to be the town hall and the police station.
Was there a street light at Balltown and not? Was
There
it ever?
was.
Was it ever just a one street light town that you can remember?
No. My wife comes from a one street light town.
Okay.
Up north near Malone. That was not us. No, we had plenty of streetlights.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we had technology
Right.
in the dark ages.
No computers at the high school though.
Well, they had some by the time I was there. Yeah,
Okay.
when I was in high school. When I was in the 4th grade at Hillside, Hillside got its first computers, and they had a lottery, and I think like 1 or 2 kids from each grade were chosen to bring a computer home for a week. And I was 4th grade going into 5th grade, and I got to bring a computer home for a week. It was like an old Apple II.
Okay.
I had it set up in my parents' dining room. I don't know what I did with it, because there wasn't much you could do with it back then.
They just took an Apple II computer, like a desktop.
Yeah.
And just, this kid takes it home this week?
Yeah. Chris Rooney gets the week of July, whatever, and I brought it home and set it at my parents. I think I knew how to do some very, very basic programming.
Okay.
Where it was like, 10, run, 20, next command. And I would just try to make it do things. There were no games.
Sure.
There was nothing you could really do with it. But I had it for a week, and I thought that was really cool.
Yep.
I had this computer.
You mentioned Niska Day.
Niska Day, yeah.
So you're 52. That means
Yeah.
you've lived through every Niska Day.
I've lived through every Niska Day. I have marched in, I've lost count, not every Niska Day parade, but a fair number of them, maybe half of them, from one group or another. I marched in the very first Niska Day parade with the Cub Scouts.
Okay.
I was in 4th grade. Later on, I did it with the studio singers. I was a singer in high school.
Okay.
Still am a singer now.
Where do you sing?
Now I sing with a group called Rock Voices. They are based in we practice in Colony. It's Rock Voices Albany. But we are a choir that sings choral arrangements of rock songs.
Very cool.
Yeah.
No instruments, just
No instrument. One of my regrets is I didn't learn an instrument. But I started singing in the Hillside Chorus in 4th grade, went all the way up through Niskayuna choir and studio singers in high school, sang a little bit in college, and then I stopped. And then always missed it. Found out about this Rock Voices group, and I went to one of their concerts, and I was like, getting massive studio singers vibes. And I was like, well, I must do this.
What's different in Niskayuna versus the Niskayuna that, quote, you remember?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Clearly, the high school campus is much different.
Much
Clearly,
different, yeah.
I guess it's St. James Square, or maybe it's Market 32
Yeah,
now.
that's
There's no
different.
Flavorland. That's long gone.
Yeah. There's some things about the landscape that have changed a little bit. The big thing for me, growing up as a kid here versus like raising my own kids, is we were sort of feral. We would go out in the playground and meet up with the neighborhood kids, and every parent, at least in my neighborhood, had their own unique whistle. So I'm not a good whistler, but my mom's was sort of like, and it was kind of like those two tones, so I would know that's my mom, and my friend Rick, his parents had their own whistle, and my friends Tony and Tim their parents had their own whistle. So either that or the firehouse would always blow their horn at 6 p.m.
Okay.
So, time to go home because there's the firehouse horn. But we'd be on our bikes and just running around all over the place and kind of made our own fun. Versus my kids, there weren't a lot of other kids in the old Niskayuna neighborhood that we lived in. There's plenty of them. Now I'm the old guy.
Okay.
There's a lot of young families with kids. But when we were the young family, it was mostly older couples, older families, and there weren't a lot of kids. So there was nobody, like my kids couldn't go run to the next door. Say, I'm going to go to Bobby's house. I had to help them arrange their play dates, which I was not a huge fan of. I was like, why can't you just get on your bike and go somewhere, So that seemed to change a lot. The kids were sort of spread out more and required more intervention from us to help get them to their...
It wasn't spontaneous.
Wasn't spontaneous, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You mentioned something that sort of resonates. I remember Niskayuna, especially even when I moved in here, and people will take offense to this, it's just being a lot of really old people. It always seemed like there was, somebody, when you're driving behind the Cadillac and it's just Knuckles and the...
Yeah.
There's a lot of old people, but there are a lot of young people and a lot of families.
Yeah.
But the number of students at the school has sort of maintained, so they must be someplace, obviously.
I guess. We had...
Maybe the old people just kept yelling at me when I was younger.
Well, when I was younger, everybody seemed like an old person.
Sure, that's true.
Now, like I said, my wife and I were kind of like the old people on our block. A lot of young families have moved in.
Yeah.
So, it's just sort of perceptions change. I had about just under 300 in my graduating class. I don't know what it's like now. About the same as...
I think probably. I mean...
Is it more? My sense would be it's more, but...
Well, I watched graduation a few months ago. It was at the Times Union Center, or
Yeah.
whatever they call it, MVP Arena.
MVP Arena, yeah.
Which didn't exist when you were growing up.
Actually, it opened my senior year.
As the
the Knickerbocker Arena, my
Right, with
senior,
Sinatra.
1990.
Where did you go to concerts before then?
SPAC.
Okay.
SPAC. And back then,
And the Starlight, that's right.
the Starlight, yeah, SPAC was the big deal. The SPAC concert for the summer, they used to announce all the dates on the same day. Now they kind of start in like January. I mean, like they'll start kind of dribbling them out. But it used to be like there was like one day in April, like we're going to give you the whole schedule. That was like a holiday.
Okay.
You know, and we'd all be sitting by the radio writing down, because some DJ would read the dates off, and we'd all be like writing them down.
Are you ever taken back when you drive like on Knott Street East, for example?
Yeah.
And there's all these houses that were just woods.
Yeah.
Not, 20, 30 years ago, if you will. Does that make you feel like you've been a part of the growth, or, boy, I feel old, or...
All of the above.
Yeah.
All of the above. I remember in high school going into the woods to with some friends with a video camera, and we were shooting a movie. We were trying to make our own some kind of sci-fi story that we wrote, or a horror story or something. I don't remember what it was, but we're shooting a movie back there, and like those woods are like townhomes now. You know, and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's been a lot of growth, a lot of change. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But I do drive around sometimes and think about, I remember when that was all woods, or I remember when, where the CVS is now, I remember when that was a Stort's and a drugstore, we were both there when I was a kid. My dad would take me to that Stort's to get an ice cream and a football helmet,
Right. So it sort of leads me to the next question I want to ask you. If there's a lot of young families that we talked about who have come to Niskayuna, or that have just moved here within the last, say, decade or so, what did they miss? Was there a golden age, if you will? And boy, I must make you feel terribly old, as if there was a golden age. But something that Niskayuna had that you miss that they don't have anymore, or
that's a good question.
Maybe just a feel that no longer exists when you talk about different moms having a different sound to
things like that.
Whistle.
It's hard to say they're missing out on it, because there's great stuff now. It's just different. I remember as a kid, my buddies and I on a Saturday afternoon or in the summertime, we would scrape together whatever loose change we had, whatever money we had, and we'd get on our bikes. We'd ride to the McDonald's on Union Street, and I'm old enough to remember when that McDonald's was built. That was a big deal when we got to McDonald's.
Sure.
But we would ride our bikes to the McDonald's. We'd have lunch, and then whatever quarters we had left over, the place is now, I think it's a Marcella's over near Homestyle.
Okay.
That used to be a video arcade.
Okay.
So we would take whatever we had left over from McDonald's. We'd go to the arcade, pump those quarters into Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Asteroids, Missile Command.
Space Invaders, sure.
Space Invaders. I love to watch Stranger Things with my kids, because the kids in that show, whatever year a given season takes place in, they are the exact age that I was in that year.
Okay.
So I will watch that show with my kids, and I'm like, this is my childhood. Minus the interdimensional monsters and the telekinetic girls. And then I'll say, actually, just minus girls in general.
Yeah. It is remarkable, that show, how much they capture the feel of the time, for sure.
Yeah. I miss the mall, Mohawk Mall. I miss that a lot.
When Mohawk Mall, the Mohawk Mall you remember, before the media play, what were the anchor stores at Mohawk Mall?
Boston Store.
That's
Montgomery Ward. Going way back when I was a little kid, there was a J.M. Fields. Eventually that became Bradley's. As a teenager in high school, I worked at the movie theater.
Okay.
Loved that job. I still have dreams about that. Sometimes I dream about the movie theater. I still love that.
But that was really it was such a destination to go to that mall. My first bank account was they gave me a little bank book, and I would go into First National or something like that.
At one point, I would take my break from the movie theater. I would get a 15-minute break or a half-hour break if I was doing a long shift, and I'd walk around in the mall, and I knew somebody in every store. That's where all the kids worked. I had this friend who worked at Record Town, and I had this friend who was working at Foot Locker, and I had this friend who was working in Friendly's, and I would just kind of wander the mall, and we'd all see each other.
It's a little fast times at Ridgemont High.
Very much so. The Ground Round was our kind of our teenage hangout.
Yep.
Junior, senior year of high school. Tuesday night was wing night, so we'd all go to Ground Round on Tuesday night, all the wings you could eat.
Yep.
And then we would do we would ask for extra wing sauce on the side, and we would drink it like shots, which would just destroy my stomach. Now, I can't eat wings anymore.
Sure.
It's sad.
There was a Friendly's here. I remember that.
Friendly's, yeah.
And
Friendly's was a destination after every concert. A concert at the high school.
Sure.
I was not an athlete, but I sang in the choir, sang in the studio singers, and had friends in the orchestra and the band. And after every concert, everybody would go over to Friendly's afterwards.
any teachers that made an impression on you?
Several. Well, I'll start with Bob Christensen. He was the director of the choir. Mm-hmm. And I had him from middle school chorus up through studio singers and choir, and loved him. He just passed away a few years ago. I'll mention Peter Warren, who just retired I think 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. He was a social studies teacher. Had him for a couple of different classes up there, but great guy. Learned a lot from him about life in general, in addition to the subject matter he taught. And I always remember Jeff Strobel, who just passed away not that long ago. Another social studies teacher. The only honors class I ever took was 10th grade global studies honors, and I was in his class. And I remember first day of school. First day, it's like a Wednesday, and he says, by Friday, you will have all the capitals of every country in Europe memorized. Okay. Friday, he gives us a quiz. Monday, he passes those quizzes back. And he puts mine down on my desk. He's handing them out to each kid. What gets to me, puts down on my desk, probably an F. And he looks at me and he says, Rooney, never again. Put the fear of God in me.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah.
But it got better from there. And he challenged me and pushed me, and learned a lot from him and enjoyed him. And he was a social studies teacher, but he also was a great piano player. Mm-hmm. So he helped out with all the school musicals. So I was kind of involved with him in that aspect of it too, because I was a drama club nerd.
Okay.
So yeah, he was a good guy.
General Electric, was that where most people worked in the Niskayuna that you grew up in?
Yeah, I think a lot of my friends' parents worked for GE. Mm-hmm. My parents worked for GE at one point. Okay. My dad was 30 plus years at the Air Guard.
Okay.
But prior to that, he started out as a draftsman down at GE. Dad grew up on Vandertrup Road, so he was born in 1932. I think it was 31. So he was, born and raised here also. And he started out at GE, and that's where he met Mom, who was working down there. She was from Ballston Spa. Mm-hmm. So they got married in '55. Moved around to a few different places. Lived in Colony for a little bit. Went back up to Ballston Spa for a little bit. Settled on Story Avenue, early '60s. And that's where they raised their 4 kids.
So if you were traveling, you're on an airplane,
Yeah.
you're sitting next to somebody and you got to sell Niskayuna to them. How are you going to describe it?
Well, all right. I'm going to start out broad, and then we'll sort of narrow it down. The capital region in general, I love, because it's whatever is your thing, it's close by. If you love hiking and outdoors, the mountains or whatever, Adirondacks to the north, Catskills to the south. You're into sports, you're into big city stuff. Boston 3 hours that way, New York 2.5 hours that way. Go up to Montreal.
Yep.
Everything you want is within reach here. So I think it's just an amazing place to live. Niskayuna in general, I don't know if I can put my finger on it or put it into words, but I love this community. Mm-hmm. I love the co-op. I love what you've built here. I used to get my hair cut here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mom would give me $8 and drop me off and say, I'll come back and pick you up later, and I get my hair cut here. That was, as a little kid, up until I remember getting my hair cut before my wedding. Sitting right over there.
Oh yeah. Well, we cleaned it up. Some of that hair probably was still here.
Yeah, well, yeah, a lot of it, I think. So it just, I don't know, because I lived here my whole life, I just feel like it's in my DNA. I can't put it into words very well, which isn't great for a podcast.
Well, no, and I think a lot of people probably understand that because if you've ever been someplace else, it doesn't have that magical ingredient, if you will.
I mean, I get up every morning and I go for I do like a 3-mile walk every morning, and I leave my house and I'm walking and I recognize homes where I knew kids who grew up, and I walk by Vandertrup School where I played Little League. Now it's a softball field, but I played Little League there.
Yep.
Walk down Story Avenue, the street I grew up on, back down Grand Boulevard, and it's like memories wash over me every day, and it gives me the warm fuzzies. Home is wherever you hang your hat, I guess, and I've just never really felt like moving my hat.
Gotcha.
We talked before we started here that I've always been a big if it ain't broke, don't fix it guy. And I just never felt like it was broke.
Excellent. We're going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you.
One more time, plug if people want to sing with you, where and how.
Absolutely. rockvoices.com. There are 29 different Rock Voices choirs in cities all throughout the Northeast. So wherever you live, there's probably a Rock Voices choir nearby. Mm-hmm. The Albany choir rehearses at the Russian Orthodox Church in Colony, Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Go to rockvoices.com. All the info you need is there, or just hit me up.
Perfect.
I love to talk about it.
Perfect. Thank you.
You got it.